That's right, 3-2 and poop. And that's
Poop.
That's why we got a little bit of a later start, because I'm what one would call a glutton for punishment, because we devoured some Afghan food. And I like the Afghan, the Nepalese, the Indian, everything south of the border, all the way to Argentina. Man, God, it's so tasty. But boy, it doesn't
support the enemy. To support the enemy, Wes. The wound is not healed yet. The Afghanis, I guess get your Taliban food. Glad you enjoyed it. Next thing I know, you'll be having some Russian popovers or something. That's next on the list.
Dude, listen, you know for a fact that that's not Afghani food. That's just some, 1,000-mile radius of the same shit, the same kebabs, and they just throw an Afghan label on it. It might as well be Indian, might as well be Nepalese, Mongolian, South Chinese, probably not here. But
South Chinese, as opposed to the North Chinese or the East Chinese.
Yeah.
Well, it's big enough.
Well, I do want to correct you on something, because I guess the action that you took before the show is not what I would call squeezing one off, just to let you know. Pinching one off, okay, that's an appropriate phraseology for pooping. But squeezing one off, if you're unaware, I hope you were being ironic. That's just something, I don't know. I'm not very sensitive to things, but just not something I announced to all my friends. Hey, I'll be right back and go squeeze one off real quick.
Fair enough. You'll never hear from
maybe you should announce it to your friends. Maybe, maybe.
Why is that kind of weird? It's just weird to be hanging out with the gaggle of guys and be like, "Hey guys, I'll be right back," and go squeeze one off. Like, it just, I don't know. It's if it's something that you're going to do.
We're circle jerking. That would be weird.
Yeah, but there is something odd about somebody who has to leave the circle to go jerkle and come back. You know what I mean? I don't know. There just seems something like all of a sudden that moment hit them at that time.
Like with that go straight, Yeah. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, poop's just a thing. Like, your body's just like, oh, I got to manufacture this thing. The other is like, no, I need to manufacture this thing. I'll be right back.
It's understandable.
Maybe it helps me relax. Maybe it helps me calm my nerves before the show. Why is it always got to be a gaggle? Why are hanging out with my buddies gaggles?
Because it's always more than one, and it's usually like 3 to 5. So I don't know.
I think it's because of the alliteration, like a gaggle of guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't say that. You can't say you can't alliterate as well with a full barrel.
Yeah. Well, I mean that.
Apparently, Murray can.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm hanging out with a bunch of, Jewish guys, it's a few Jews, you see, I only know a few Jews, so that works as well. Let's see. I don't know. Gaggle of gals. I'd do that too.
That would work too.
Yeah. I mean, because you're forward thinking.
Yeah. I'm progressive.
Yeah. Speaking of, speaking of being progressive. Yeah. No. All right. I had sent you guys this the other day, and for those of you who aren't, who are only listening via audio, it says, and it's a printed out piece of paper on a stake that's in a grass square in the city here, and it says, "To the person who won't clean up after the pet defecates on these grass squares, you are what you won't clean up, and I will kindly explain this to you face to face if you would like. Cleaning this up is a one-time thing," and I'll get to that here for context clues, "and won't happen again. Pick up after your dog. Pigtown does not need to be a pigsty. Sincerely, your friendly neighbor on Wyatt Street." So cleaning this up meaning, cleaning this up meaning there's probably 12 of these square blocks that have some sort of, they're trying to grow trees. They're small. They have the stakes on the side with the wires that are keeping them propped up. But I don't know, some fucking dog that the size of a mini Buick took like 30 shits in these things and never cleaned it up. So I went out this Sunday, fucking.
I was going to ask, hold on, pause. Yeah. So that was you wrote that sign.
I wrote 12 of them.
Because it sounds like you. Like when I read it, I was like, "Wes, put this sign up." But I didn't ask because I wanted to ask it live, direct, even though we ain't live.
What gave it away?
So, just the tone. just the fucking tone, just the tone of it. And then I know what street you lived on too. So I was like, if it was a different street, I would have been like, oh, okay, Wes was walking by and saw the sign. But that's the name. Like, I knew the street and I was like, okay. Right. So Wes wrote this.
Okay. No, I have a serious question for you. And I'm not saying you did this specifically for the show, but if we didn't do this podcast every week, would you have gone through with that? Because I know, I know how I am. Mm-hmm. I go out of my way to do certain bullshit things just to get myself into a situation so I have conversation points to speak about when we all get together. I've done it for years. When I was on the radio, I did the same thing. Mm-hmm. I'd get into weird confrontations with counter people just to have a conversation point. Would you have done that if the middle class holes was not a thing that you were a part of?
So I understand where you're coming from, and I see your train of thought to ask such a question. And it is a good question. It's one that's worth asking. Yes, I would have. I've been stewing on that for about a week to a week and a half, maybe a little bit more. Well, I mean, it's just gotten progressively worse. About 2 weeks ago, I walk a dog most mornings. Well, now not even most mornings. I walk a dog enough to notice that this fucking Beethoven-sized dog has taken these fucking mortar-round-sized shits.
Have you seen the dog, or just have you seen the evidence of the dog?
I have a suspect. In mind.
So yeah. for full disclosure, I lived in the neighborhood until 6 months ago. For like, I don't know, 6-7 years, something like that, something fucking silly.
Yeah.
So yeah. So 6 years. But anyway, I have a feeling I know what dog it is. I have, so 6 months, dogs can move in. But so there's a big old fucking dog that moseys around that part of town that I think could leave a colossal fucking dump.
Yeah.
He's blue colored, if you understand that in dog lingo. And he's large. He's extremely large.
Yeah, so you may not want to fuck around with your signs there, Wes, if I'm picking up what Alan's putting down.
Well, this happened Sunday. It's Thursday. The blocks have been poop free since then. Not a one.
Okay. All right. Well, the next step to me would be you don't have to get an expensive one. I would say get a cheap trail cam and post it up. And they won't notice it. They won't pick it up. And then you start shaming them like on social media and see what comes of it. I want to see this confrontation escalate. Because I always wonder, because I think about doing this kind of stuff a lot. I'm a red fucking shine, but it takes a lot less of a shove to get you barrel rolling in a certain direction than it does me. Well, like, it takes a lot for me.
Okay, but imagine there's 12 of those blocks, and yes, I did print off 12 and duct taped them at every single one. Now, since then, 3 or 4 have flown off due to wind. But most of them stood up. And mind you, if you turn around 180 degrees, it surrounds an elementary school. Okay, so kids have been reading this, parents, teachers, administrators, janitors, and they haven't taken them down. So I think I've made my impact in the neighborhood.
This is on Scott Street, right?
Yeah, the Scott, and then the other, the L wraps around. Yeah. I think it's Hamburg. So I won't necessarily throw myself up there with the Batmans of Gotham, maybe a Robin, but I'm getting there.
The pig man of Pigtown.
Here's a question: did you look up pigsty to make sure you wrote it right?
I did do that. Yes, I was like, I don't know if the phonetic way is the way you spell it. Let me just make sure I get this right. As a matter of fact, I did that in Word and did a Grammarly check just to it's around an elementary school. You want to make sure that if any kids reading it, they're understanding proper grammar. But my point is like I walk the dog not a lot, maybe like a quarter of the time. It does its business in the morning and then after dinner in the early evening. And it was getting to a point where I'd have to physically pull him out of, because he likes to sniff around a little bit in each and every one, not a lot, but a little bit, to where he's having to like landmine his way around these fucking, I don't know, like football sized turds. And yes, there is a suspect, but Sarah did make me aware that there are 2 other large dogs, in the vicinity. But this guy down the street has a Mastiff that's like, it looks like the dog on the other side of the fence in the Sandlot. Looks like that.
Well, I'd have to say, when you sent that picture the other day, I wasn't sure where this conversation was going. I was like, my first thought was like, do these signs really fucking work? Or are you more, what annoys you more? The mortar round size shits in the squares, or the asshole who puts the sign up about the mortar round stations in the squares.
Right.
And part of me, and I guess part of me, because I don't know who the dog is or the owner of the dog, and no one likes to pick up shit, so I can understand how shits get left behind. But then I'm like, what about the person who's fuming so much about the turds that they then go back to their apartment, they write up a sign, they look up how to spell pigsty,
They make sure they grammar check it,
and then they print out 12 of these things, go find a roll of duct tape,
listen,
and then tape them up in every square.
I think it's a noble cause. Hold on one second. There's a noble cause here, but I think the mistake and the thing where I get disappointed is that the person does all this work and goes back and uses his brain power and types something up and gets it checked, make sure it's good to go for public consumption, and then he reaches for fucking duct tape like an animal. Like you fucking get some nails, maybe a staple gun, like. You're just wrapping around. Like, I mean, it's decent enough, I guess. But
well, 8 of the 12 are still standing, so I figure it's done its trick. But I understand what you're saying. It's just yes, a half a trash bag full of turds and probably somewhere between 40 and 50 real sizable dry heaves on my end. I feel like this was warranted. I earned it. I earned the right to type this and tape it up there and be, quote unquote, the man by Ric Flair.
Okay. Did you pick up the turds?
I did. Every last one of them.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. All right. Now I'm defending you again, because if you went through the effort of picking up all these turds, then I feel like you're deserving of satisfying your own urge to leave signage, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
Dude, look, bottom line is, you all know what I do for a living, and I have found myself in an Indiana Jones style situation in many a front lawn where I went in whimsically, and then, oh my God, and then you turn your head and, oh my God, and you can't get mad at the person because it's their yard. If they want to live like a fucking Neanderthal, that's their business. But now I'm stuck in the middle of it. And yeah, I've gotten a little upset about this. However, what can I do? What's my recourse? And I also have a slight issue, not a pure issue. I agree. You live in a city, keep it clean. But this comes back to my bathroom break situation, where if you don't have anywhere to go, there's no public restroom. What do? Are you allowed to pee? Are you allowed to poop? This is a natural process. You squeezed one off before the show. Like, it's a dog. I know you're supposed to pick up shit. Nobody wants to pick up shit. No one wants to pick up, especially a fresh, warm turd. And I almost can't blame a person for being like, looking to the left, looking to the right. It's like you're sitting at a red light and there's no one around. It's 3 a.m. Do you just go through it? I think you do. So I feel for both of you in this scenario.
It's it's a cardinal rule in the city, man. It's just that don't have a fucking dog if you can't have something. And if you run out of bags, get your ass back to your house and get something. March back out there. They'll be like, I'll get it twice next time. It doesn't help.
The best part about it is we spent all that time in the city, and our dog does not poop on a leash. Refuses. It feels uncomfortable. I don't know why. He only did it once, and it was diarrhea, so it's understandable. But he doesn't poop on a leash. He just doesn't fucking do it. So we would walk around and be like, hey, look at all these big-ass dumps. Ha! Suckers. And just walk away because we ain't touching them.
You bring up a great point. What do you do with diarrhea, Wes? Does that just stay? Is that like is that always the rule? Like, if you see a guy in the middle of the square and he's just like fired off, and, hey, you can't do that. Your kids play like diarrhea. Carry on.
Yeah, there have been, okay, I think it's like how graphic I can get here. Fuck it, whatever. Where I prefer the dog to take a dump is in a kind of a mulchy area with a lot of leaves and stuff like that. So you kind of do like I think you're fielding the ground ball. Just kind of get it all, some of the leaves, some of the dirt, and some of the stuff up. Yeah, there have been situations in grass when you're trying to like it's kind of sieving through the grass when you're trying to get lumps out.
No. Why are you even attempting? If it's diarrhea poop, it's there now.
You know what?
It's nature's. It's there now.
I'm gonna go back to defending Wes's sign. Like, if this is a man who's willing to sift diarrhea
right
out of the grass, like he's feeling the ground ball at a fucking bad little league fucking field, then damn, he deserves to grammar check pigsty on a thing. I just find it ironic that you ended up littering like 4 giant sheets of paper and duct tape throughout your town.
Yeah,
it
probably went down a storm drain or something. It's probably littering around.
It's in the bay now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wes.
Killing a turtle, killing a fucking sea turtle.
This is why crabs are going to be $90 a dozen. God damn it.
Yeah, right. Middle class holes, everyone. The mayor of Pigtown, Foxman, Murr, and Allen. Actually, what you were talking about reminded me.
Yeah, you should kind of campaign for that.
There is a
start a fucking like thing.
There is an email chain, Washington Village, something or other. There's a lot of alerts.
I won't call it that. I refuse.
It is Pigtown. The new age name is Washington Village, but I was
hoping
hoping
you could say the gentrified name is Washington Village.
Gentrified name is Washington Village. I was hoping to see someone, put that on blast. But who that? What? They wrote defecate, and then they said meet face to face. See, I thought that would give it away to you guys. I thought
you should throw it up. Are you in South Baltimore complaints? You should be.
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah, you should chuck it in. You should chuck the grenade in there and see what happens.
Alan, stop it. Okay, I know we like to gaslight the guy, but this is not a place he needs to be on social media.
I would do it because I got kicked out of that group for starting shit. So I just want you to start shit.
This actually, the story you were telling me more about playing hopscotch through someone's yard. This reminds me, I was in the back, something where we had to go in through the backyard to get into Nick's house. He didn't have a key, and he said there's a spare, but it's only on the back patio. I knew they had like this big gated backyard. He said, damn, like I know the dog has taken a couple craps, but I don't know where. I haven't picked it up yet. Mind you, the backyard's pretty vast, but rather than like stick to the sides, I just decided to high step it like through and figured if I go like, kind of semi tiptoe and run, it was dark. It's like, I'll miss it. I didn't get any turds or any dog shit, but they did have a really strong wired, clothes hanger in their backyard, and it clotheslined me right underneath my nose, like got the top part of my lip and literally sent me horizontal, like boom, and pro wrestling style landed on my back. Oh,
right in the middle of a pile of shit.
Yeah, I was thinking it too. This is like 2000. Had a brand new leather jacket for Christmas, one of those long ones too. Came in like mid thigh. Fucking whack of shit. Yeah, I know, right?
That's the beauty of being short, man. Like, you don't have to worry about the high obstacles. It's just the low stuff. And by the way, when you're dealing with dog shit, it's honestly, I feel like it's when you're paying attention that you actually step in it. Like I was just saying, like my example, it's like doop, 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 dumbass just fucking duping along and didn't step in a single turd. It's when you start like, oh, there's turds right there. All right, I got to navigate this. That's when you step in one. Immediately, the next step is a turd because you looked left and you didn't look right where your foot was going. Yeah. Right in the shitter.
And you're always wearing some sort of sneakers that have deep rivets in there. You got to get like a fucking pen or a pen, the other side of a pen cap or a nail to chisel it out when it's become fucking crusty.
That's the worst part is like... If you could just bang it out or like spray it out with a hose or like anything of that nature, it would be okay. But it's when you got to do like fucking surgery to get poop out of ridges of your fucking Adidas. Like that's some humbling shit. Just drop.
especially when it's like a brown turd that's crusted over like soft yellow center. And what I will do, I will go find a piece of mulch or a stick, and I will do exactly what Alan's talking about. I will do surgery on my sneaker, and I will sit on their porch while I do it. And then if they say something like, stepped in your dog shit, and if they're not home, what I'm doing, I'm wiping it right there where they step on the porch. I will rub my shoe into their fucking going in the house mat. I will leave sticks filled with turds on their fucking doorstep. That's my gift to you.
You're ruthless.
I'm not leaving.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, it is reasonable. It's better than a sign.
It's reasonably ruthless.
It's a passive aggressive ass bitch.
I told him I would meet him face to face if he had any problems. I gave him the entire block that I live on. I mean, I narrowed it down.
Oh man, I appreciate
stab down there, bro.
After all after all your excuses and all the steps that you took, I am pro your signage for your signage. But man, like it's a little aggressive. I'm just saying. You live in a town with a very high murder rate. I'm just saying, face to face. It's
all I'm saying. Like you live in a neighborhood where, like, if you lived like 2 miles east, you would 100. The likelihood that it was a tiny blonde girl or a fucking like dude bro, like a 22-year-old dude bro, it would be like 95%. But you live 2 miles west, and so it's like 60-40 fucking young professional who can't afford to live 2 miles east, or someone who could potentially harm you.
True, but no one's called my bluff yet. So I mean,
that's fair. That's reasonable.
I rolled the dice and I won the dog shit lottery. Kind of, I guess.
You're gonna come out. There's just gonna be dog shits on like all the steps of Wyeth. Like,
yeah, right.
The whole block.
It's getting you all of you.
This is what happens.
Getting all of you.
If it continues to happen, I want next garbage bag full of shit you pick up. I want you to save it. Summer's coming. I want you to let it ripe. I want you to set up that trail cam. I'll pitch in, and then when you find out who it is, I want you to dump that ripe shit right there on their fucking lawn. And what's left of it?
Let it get
their
ripe.
Stoop. Yeah.
Throw a couple banana peels in there. Start composting. Let it get real soupy.
I'm worried now because you've put me on such a high pedestal about explaining to you that this wasn't all. Nearly none of them were fresh. It was all at this point. It was all like rock, pretty well, solid and I don't even. It's like fossilized.
Well, it's been cold out here. It gets hard quick.
I don't know. For a minute,
what are you bitching about?
No. I'm just saying. For a minute, if I were to tell you that, my story wouldn't seem as triumphant to you anymore. I was worried about.
If you were picking up like old white turds, then yeah, I'd be like, "Come on, dog. That's been there for like 3 months."
Yeah. Well, that means it's a healthy dog too. So I mean that. I'm just saying that means that as a detective here, I'm saying that the person who owns the dog is probably of a higher income status. So you may not have to worry as much. It may not be the 40% that Alan's speaking of that you need to worry about. Yeah, it means that they're feeding them some like whatever, like blue chew bullshit or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, or some what do the fucking the yuppies do now? They feed them like raw meats, like human.
Yeah. There's like a whole freezer section for dog food now that my dog will never see.
I see people on Instagram. It's like, this is my dog's dinner, and it's like prime rib and fish oils and shit. And I'm like, God damn, I didn't even eat that well to see. I ate a double cheeseburger, ma'am. Your dog ate better than me this evening.
I had for a brief period. You guys familiar with this at all? Hold on. This little spray called Liquid Ass.
Yes.
Yeah. I bought some of that maybe 9 or 10 years ago when we went spraying that around in the greater Federal Hill area. Some of these hoity-toity young pro bars. And there's a couple times where one guy was like on a dance floor at a place. It doesn't exist anymore. It was called Stalking Horse. Now it's called, I think it's NOLA. But yeah,
I know the guys that opened that.
Because like, dude, Kyle fucking stops dancing and lifts up his shoe. Gives it like a peek under, thinking he may have stepped in shit and dragged it into the club. Oh yeah, that stuff. Actually, we did a tester on the rooftop deck, and Yanko said, "If you fart and that's what it smells like, you should go check yourself into an ER."
Yeah, I know that shit because I went to an all boys high school and things happen. And fucking man, that is a smell. Like that and the little glass stink bombs from way back.
Yeah.
Like I will legit vomit. Like I will gag. Like it's such an artificial shit scent that I can't get past it. And like that's really, I don't really like gag at shit. Like I don't see things gory and like, but If you give me the right smell, yep, I will absolutely throw up.
It's so sulfuric. It's like you said. It's just, I happened to be in close proximity when one had just went off, and at the high school, someone threw it, and it must have been there for about 30 seconds to a minute. And I kept thinking maybe it was just me, and just tried to power through it. And I was like, something didn't right. It just kept getting more and more dense. Yeah.
I remember that there was a gaggle. There you go, gaggle of folks that went to. There's a comic book store in Aberdeen and this is when comic books were like at their zenith, like in the 90s, and they started selling like quote unquote magic tricks, and the main magic tricks they sold were stink bombs and the itching powder and all that dumb shit. And we had a stink bomb outbreak for about, I don't know, 2 to 4 weeks at the old lunchroom. Yeah, and it was pretty gnarly. It was a pretty bad week.
It's just so terrible.
Yeah, man. Mostly young. I mean, it's a vast majority of this shenanigans comes from young boys. I mean, you might get a girl here and there that's kind of, what do you mean? No, that's nonsense.
Maybe. Hey, look,
highly unlikely. That's
why I said a vast majority.
I know, but by vast majority, I would say like the anomaly. The anomaly is the girl. Like, I don't know girls who pull dumb bullshit pranks like this. I couldn't name you a girl that I've known from elementary school to now that would throw a stink bomb in a lunchroom. I got none. I got zero.
Nah, I think I might have like one.
Maybe one.
So
99 to 1. Yeah. Like, that's... Girls don't do this shit. They don't find it funny like us. Yeah. I'll give you a quick little story. We were picking up the boy. I got off early today. We were going to pick the boy up from the elementary school. And the new car I bought the wife has the the whole link up thing. So I was playing some stand up comedy through Pandora, and the man was using dirty words, and she yelled at me. I'm like, what's the problem? We're in the car. It's like, we're in elementary school. So we're in a parking lot.
I'm in the car. Yeah, I don't understand.
No one's hearing what we're hearing.
Yeah.
He said the F word at an elementary school. He didn't.
Inside of an elementary school and said an F word.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you should tell her that.
those doors close and those kids go home. There's a lot of S words getting fucking chucked around.
Yeah, no, and so I had to change the Pandora station because there was too much dirty language in the parking lot of an elementary school with the windows up in a car.
She's an old-fashioned lady, huh?
Yeah, she very much is. But yeah, so I don't see any ladies in my life using stink bombs in the lunchroom during high school.
The thing I was going to say was that at adolescent age or young teenagers, once you get a hold of something like that, man, it just laser pointers. When I got to school, that was just like, all right, we're gonna get a few of these, and we're just gonna fuck with people as much as we possibly can.
I got suspended in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Well, the fucking principal had 2 little twin daughters. They were like 2 years younger than me, and I was fucking around with it in the hallway, and I guess I got them. I wasn't pointing it at them, but they got into the beam's trajectory, and they were like, my eyes, and they bitched about it, and the principal was like, shot it in their eyes. And I was like, I didn't, though. I shot it down the hall. They walked into it with their eyes. That's not my fault.
No, still kind of your fault, actually.
So
this young man was choking on a stink bomb. He walked into it. You threw it.
Yeah, so I got suspended. Well, no, but might not have been suspended. I might have got like Saturday detention, which sucked too. So
you pulled a breakfast club?
I think I did. Now that I think about it,
Wes, one of the things that I always would have felt guilty about had you gotten in trouble was the water balloon launcher, because I feel like I introduced you to that. I could be wrong, but the medical rubber tubing,
the one that takes 3 people.
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt like if you ever got in trouble for using that thing, that it would have been my fault, because I feel like I introduced that to you. I mean, I know that I maybe didn't, but I feel like it's because I'm older than you, and I had one, and I fucking did a lot of dirty shit with that thing, especially like when we were launching things out of your basement.
Well, hold the horses here because we had one at senior week that we fucked around with a good bit. I mean, we were shooting lemons probably 4 or 5 blocks just over houses and like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone circa, June 2001 got hit with a phantom lemon, wasn't me, tell you that. No, remember we were on the fire escape at the fraternity house at University of Maryland when I was in college. We were shooting that fucker 200 yards hitting moving cars.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember this.
I think you should probably scrub this from the internet.
This must have been other young men.
If you were driving at the University of Maryland in fall of 2004, then
this is one of those lawyer commercials that comes on at 2 a.m. If you were driving a car in 2004 near the University of Maryland, your car was struck by a water balloon and you suffered any kind of damages, please contact the law offices of Science Kirkham Miles. Dude, I remember the first 20 minutes of getting to senior week in Ocean City. They still had phone booths on the corner, and we were staying at this place on 5th Street, and there was a phone booth right down the way. And I'll give this chick 100% credit for this. We were launching water balloons, and she went in the phone booth, and we were like, oh, target her. And we just started lighting that phone booth up with water balloons. She couldn't leave. And like I say, to her credit, she just started cackling, throwing her hands in the air, what am I going to do? I can't leave. And we were just pelting the shit out of that thing. We thought the windows were going to break.
She said, get out, make it a wet t-shirt contest.
Then we started launching hot dogs because we ran out of water balloons.
It's like a double-A baseball game. Actually, people go into the vat of hot dogs. Sorry, I don't want to mess things up.
If back in 1997 you were smacked in the face with a flying wiener, please contact.
If you were flashed in the eye in the hallways of St. John's Prep by a laser pointer. Say, you guys familiar with old Dee Snider, lead singer of Twisted Sister?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I only know him from a handful of songs. Alan seems pretty down. Are you reading through Dee Snider's catalog?
What's that? No, I don't know tons about Dee Snider's catalog. No, I do not, unfortunately.
Okay,
so there's only 2 real songs you need to know. It's just I Wanna Rock.
Yeah.
And We're Not Going to Take It. That's the only 2 songs you need to know. That's a career's worth of songs because they're so goddamn powerful.
I mean, I guess it's Dee Snider. I mean, there was a band. There were other guys around, but I guess it's just Dee Snider.
Twisted Sister, that's the band. Yeah. And by the way, Twisted Sister, Dee Snider's the one who went and testified in front of Congress because Tipper Gore's cunty bitch ass decided she's the one who put the parental advisories on all your CDs. And it was based on Twisted Sister because Dee Snider dressed up like a lady. He was a gender bender, and she decided that wasn't good for the youth of America.
Yes.
The youths? Well, Dee Snider, lead singer of Twisted Sister. So it's Dee Snider, Timmy Twisted, and Mike's sister. Great band, by the way. 1984 hit We're Not Gonna Take It is being used by the Ukrainians amid the Russian invasion. He loves it. He says, quote, I absolutely approve Ukrainians using We're Not Going to Take It as their battle cry. My grandfather was Ukrainian before it was swallowed up by the USSR after World War II. This can't happen to these people again. Snyder then tweeted hashtags with fuck Russia and fuck Putin. Your thoughts on Mr. Snyder rocking in the semi-free world? I ought to. Sorry.
The free for now world.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's cool. It's whatever. I guess that's what they're worse.
I guess it's cool.
I mean, yeah. What do you want me to say? Fuck, it's fucking awesome. I mean,
there you go. There you go.
I mean, look. We're not gonna take it. I get it. It fits the moment. I just think they're better songs.
Are you aware of the song?
Am I aware of the song? Yes. Yes, I'm aware of the song.
Dude,
pretty sure I have it on vinyl in my basement.
He hosts karaoke. Of course he knows the fucking song.
Fuck out of here.
Hey, I'm just saying that the Ukrainians still live in 1984 when this song was at the top of the charts here in the U.S. You got to remember, when you go to Eastern Europe, it's like a time warp, man. They're still wearing acid wash jeans and fucking Aquanet in their hair.
I don't think that's true.
I think I'm 100%.
We've literally seen them on TV the last week. They look like regular people in 2022.
Yeah. Have you seen their apartments? Not so.
The buildings aren't great. The facilities are definitely not up to snuff. Well, that's for sure.
Okay, from Dee Snider's perspective, think about this. You wrote a song damn near 40 years ago that is now the battle cry of like this ragtag group of civilian soldiers who are literally fighting to stave off one of the last superpowers remaining in the world. You've got the U.S., you got Russia, you got China, and you got one of them coming into your country to kill you, and you just say, fuck it, put that shit on 11, we're not going to take it. That's just, everything about the Ukrainians has, like, it's made my balls swell, and I'm doing nothing but watching it on the news.
See, I think for an entertainer like Dee Snider, you're not going to get much. Hell yeah, he's going to be fired up about it. They keep playing it, keep rocking it. I think what Alan was saying was, it's not that he doesn't think it's cool. He just thinks that there could be better songs played.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. Like, it speaks to the moment. I get it. Like, I don't know. I want something with a little more rage. You know, we're not gonna. It's very hairbandy, and nothing about hairbands made me nervous. You're trying to intimidate a world power who's coming into your kitchen. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna take it. Come on.
I will say it's very on the nose. However, in this situation, I feel like on the nose is what you're going for. I don't think you need Russian troops that are like barely speak broken English. I don't think you need them to translate on their way across the border with their fucking Kalashnikovs trying to fucking go into your kitchen and murder your family. I think you just like, they are not going to take it. Shit. Okay, fuck. Like I feel like it needs to be an instantaneous translation, and it's simple. It's on the nose. It says exactly what they mean. And it also reminds me of, I think, roughly the 1985 movie Iron Eagle, where there was a young man whose father was kidnapped by Iranian terrorists, and he was a fighter pilot, and he had to learn to fly his F-14 even further into battle because he'd learned from his father, but Chappie, old black man who was friends with his father, needed to teach him how to combat fly, and he used that song to go in and eviscerate the Iranian fucking Air Force. And that's the kind of thing they're dealing with right now. Old world technology. You need an old world song.
Lou Gossett Jr. taught a 16-year-old how to fly deep into enemy territory and rescue his father. It's an epic if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I heard that on the theme song to that on 102.7 and wish fucking Dee Snider had come on. Ugh.
That's such a good movie.
He also says he met some backlash with being so pro this, but also anti-mask groups using that song as their theme. And then he said, quote, well, this is a righteous battle against oppression. The other is an infantile feet stomping against an inconvenience, referring to himself as long time the voice of reason. You know, so Dee's got a good head on his shoulders.
Hey, look, yes, I get it. Like, pick your fucking battles. Just like pick where your song is a battle cry. Like, I don't want to wear this mask versus they're going to kill my family and rape my children. Like, yeah, there's a difference there. Yes, this is a more worthy cause. God. And by the way, just got to say it. That Ukrainian fucking president, prime minister, whatever his official title is, God, I hope to God he survives. Jesus.
Yeah.
God.
Him, the ex-president that this guy beat is still there. Both Klitschko brothers, Vasily Lomachenko. I haven't read it. Alan, I'd be curious to see if any football or soccer players.
Yeah, like almost, like pretty much all of the lower divisions in Ukraine have done like half of fucking Dynamo. I won't call it Kiev because it's Kyiv apparently.
Kyiv, yeah.
Yeah.
You learn something new all the time.
Learn something new every day, right? like a lot of them have played. I saw earlier, I think it was today, that Everton played an FA Cup game against a lower league English team, and they have a Ukrainian who played in that game, and so Everton gave him the captain's armband, and like they played some song, I don't know, some bullshit this morning, but rallying around them. The soccer community has, I mean, FIFA kicked Russia out, like they're out of World Cup qualifying, they're no longer involved, all of their club teams are, I think, getting booted out of UEFA. So, yeah, they've isolated themselves. This is interesting.
Just not to take it too serious, but I just want to get your opinions on this. But okay, America's been fighting wars for a long time. Pretty much probably all of Alan's life, most of mine. There was
all
of
our lives.
Well, I only say that for me and Wes because like we had a few good years after the fall of the Berlin Wall. Like it was like yay, and then we bombed the shit out of fucking Iraq, and then we had a couple extra good years, and then
but that whole time we were like funneling arms into fucking Central America and stuff. So
fair.
I mean, pick your poison.
There may have been a grenade here or there.
I've seen an American gun in Nicaragua.
Okay, well, let's just okay, fair enough. So with all of I feel like we would be hard pressed to explain all of these wars. Like we can explain maybe why we went to Afghanistan in the first place, but we can't necessarily explain the last 15 years. Like we're watching a free nation be taken apart by an aggressive force. And I don't know, man. As an American I watched his country willingly go into battles that aren't their place. Like, I feel like this is one that's not our place, but maybe we should go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, I think each and every rational American, in my opinion, is having an internal tug of war with this right now. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel they're begging, they're pleading, they're asking for help. They said, we're going to hold down the fort, but listen, you do the math. We got strong wills, we got strong hearts. We're Ukrainians. We did it once. We'll do it again. But I mean, I think they're pleading for something. And yeah, but you're going to have, it's a roll of the dice. It's more of a roll of the dice than printing fucking photos and putting them up on trees and saying you'll meet the phantom dog shitter face to face. This is this is a little more serious.
It's weird. It's in my opinion, it's like so. Yeah, I mean, you ask yourself the question like, all right, we've seen a country do something similar once, and we stayed out of it for a very long time, as long as we humanly possibly could, until fucking some guy in Japan was like, you know what we should do? But we should poke the bear. So at the time, entering into that war was serious because you're entering in against a powerful German army and a world power that you've got to be concerned about with Russia, but we weren't really or USSR at that point. We weren't really that concerned with them, but like nobody was a nuclear power yet except us. Like nobody, like not everybody in the world could press the button to fucking kill the world. And even back then, our nuclear bomb wasn't even big enough to kill the world. The smallest of them now is big enough to end this fucking planet. So putting boots on the ground in Europe again is fucking dicey, and it's got to be something massive that's going to have to cause it. Unfortunately, sorry, like we'll funnel as much aid to you as we can. We've isolated them as fuck. Like no country's ever been isolated like they are right now. Economically, fucking I think we've learned that their military, they are not the great USSR that fucking helped us, absolutely decimate the German war machine. They are behind. We're not great. We have not kept up our standards, but they seem to be at a level that we did not assume.
Yeah, this isn't Top Gun and Mings and fucking
yeah. This isn't the Red Army that pushed Germany back into Berlin. Like it's just not. And it's interesting. This is a different world dynamic. So yeah, it's fucking interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's kind of like Wes kind of said it perfectly, but it's just it feels like this is one we should help with. All the rest of the wars that we've kind of been involved with, no one asked us to come. We went and told them why we were there. This one,
World War II, Churchill was like, please, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Please,
I'm saying,
God damn it.
Yeah. I guess I'm saying in our lifetime, like, no one asked us to come, and we went and we told them why we were there. Like, this one, they're asking us to come, and we're telling them why we're not going to be there. And that's what I think hurts me the most. I guess that's why.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I guess that's why I got kind of emotional when I saw, Elon, and then whatever. I don't care what you think of Elon, but like they begged for Starlink satellites, and he said, I will put all the Starlink satellites over Ukraine right now. And then like 2 days ago, he sent all the hardware for them to link up to him. And I was like, oh, like I got emotional because I'm like, at least an American something. Like they need this. They asked for this. We gave it to them. Here you go. And that hit me. So whatever your opinions on Elon Musk are, fuck you, because that was a moment where someone could do something and they did it without question, no matter how much it cost.
A Tony Stark moment. Yeah, that's a good point.
He did something else. He did something. I saw he did something else today too, and I was like,
he thought, and the earth moved.
You got yourself. You're going on two pretty good weeks there, Elon. Keep it up. Hey, man. Hey, get credit where it's due. I forget what it was because I meant to bring it up. I even thought I read it and I was like, oh, I'm going to tell Murr that Elon Musk isn't a giant piece of shit today.
Today. Do you think you could get, at the very least, if you could get, I was going to say German buy-in. I think like, all right, Germany, look, we're we're in. You didn't let me finish. Yeah, we're going in. We know what you want. We're gonna fight. But the British, I think, may be a little more. You're gonna have to bribe. I don't necessarily bribe them. But if you think you can get those three: United States, Germany, Great Britain, and then you might get a couple here, a couple there. The French.
Here's the worst part about it is like you have to fucking talk to France, even though we know their fucking track record, because they're gigantic and they're in the fucking way. Like. We need France to do stuff in Europe. We were like, hey, France, you're free now. You're our staging ground for saving the world. Thanks. We'll be back. And then that's what we did. So you can't ignore France. Look, period. If American boots get onto the ground, the world's at war again. England's involved. France is involved. NATO's involved.
Yeah,
in its entirety. And
Canada, probably.
You've got neutral nations that have been like, hey, NATO, what's up? Because this is getting a little crazy, and we're not trying to be on that side because that side sounds like it's just Russia and Belarus, and that's not working out. Is Belarus just fucking wild, man? Like, dude, Sweden, fucking Finland, Switzerland sending PlayStations. No, Switzerland, fucking like all of these countries getting involved that don't like. The fucking Nordic countries have been like, look, man, it's freezing up here. You don't want to war it with us. Ask the Germans. Ask the Russians. We're just going to chill. And they have been like, all right, guys, maybe we need to get war ready together just in case.
Right.
Like, it's a scary fucking prospect.
The Finns are like, our dicks freeze off. You think we give a shit? Come over here.
Well, multiple times, the Germans and the Russians have tried to knock on the door up there, and they're like, "Guess what? It's fucking freezing. Come find us." Like, that's it. Like,
our backyard is a tundra.
Yeah.
My final thought is on this is the Germans owe the world something. Actually, they owe them twice. The Germans owe something, and the Poles, they're out for revenge. If the Germans say they're in Poland, which is right next door, they have something to worry about. If the Germans are in, I think the Poles are in, and then this will probably push them back. I think these sanctions and two countries willing to go to fucking toe-to-toe with them, I think this thing will be resolved in a month. But that doesn't happen. God, I pray for this Zelensky guy, pray for the Klitschko brothers.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is what, we'll leave it at this, but geopolitically, like, this is Putin's justification. Is like, NATO wasn't supposed to creep towards his doorstep. NATO's basically on his doorstep. Ukraine isn't in there, but they would like to be. And so my man is like, fuck it. We're gonna go off. We're gonna go off. The last fucking couple of years has seen America weaken to a point where I think I can fucking try to check them. And we'll see what happens. But
no, I agree with you.
If Poland gets involved, those are NATO nations. So they get involved, we're involved.
Well, no, I think if they get involved and then the European Union actually admits them to the European Union, then I think then that's the only two countries that need to get involved with a firefight, and then we're good. But yeah, no, you're right about NATO. And by the way, I'm not giving Donald Trump any fucking credit. I just don't like when they twist people's words. He is right. Putin was clever with this. That's all he said. They fucking twisted that. No, this was a clever thing. As far as being an asshole goes, this was clever. Hey, we're going to admit you into NATO. No, you're not. I'm taking your fucking oil now and your land. Fuck you. Goodbye. That's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I think he thought it was clever. I think dumb people think it was clever because the argument's dumb. Like, I mean, yes, you don't want NATO on your doorstep, but you don't get to decide that. So,
but unless somebody, if nobody does anything, he was clever. If what we're talking about steps up, then it wasn't clever.
I guess it's like we can't hindsight's 2020. I do want to ask you guys this.
He's fucked as it is. Like, yeah, I mean he's isolated. He's finished. If this isn't, he's not going to take over the west of Western Europe. It's not going to happen. He's not strong enough. So he is finished at the end of whatever this is.
But I don't want Ukraine to be finished as well. I'm sorry. Wes,
good point. No, much like I said, every kind of sound of mind Americans having a little bit of a internal tug of war about whether or not we should get involved. Do you also have that same type of tug of war? Maybe if you give Germany just a quick head start, like 4 days, 5 days, just untamed, chains cut, haven't had any major. I don't think they fought since World War II. I think they deployed troops like 10 years ago, and it was the first time since, but they didn't fight. God, wouldn't that be?
Bro, they are motherfucking pacifists now.
Are they?
They tried mad hard. They were like, fuck, man, for real? We are really trying not to do this. Like, the whole thing, right? And we were like, yeah, but you're the only ones over there who are really going to do anything.
Balls. Marbles.
Germany is like a Liam Neeson movie. Like they've been trying to quit it. They're like, all right, we need to hang this shit up. And then now we're like, hey, like I know I left this life behind. It's like, but you're so good at it. We need you now. Okay, fine. And then they go in and they fucking like, and then the next thing you know, they start like, we're really good at this, huh? Yeah. And then the next thing we know, we got World War III starting in Germany again.
So what happens is it spills into like Eastern or Western Russia, and they're like, look at this town of gypsies. What do we do with you? And then bad things happen because we know Germans.
You like to move to the grave.
Yeah. It's fucking terrible. We're getting censored.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break, but first, some soothing murmurings from Murr talking about warm, creamy chutney.
Like a warm, creamy chutney. Get ready for another spoonful of the middle Classholes.
And welcome back to the Middle Classholes, Alan Murr and Foxman. So, folks, tonight we take a maiden voyage on a brand new bit that we like to call This Week in Classhole History. Now, for those of you who don't know, we've been recording now, Alan and I, for about 3 years. Murr joined the show as a regular a little over 2 years ago. So we've gotten to a point where we can show you bits from 1 to 2 years ago, and then next year it'll be 1 to 2 to 3 years ago, if you're good at math, like I am. So the first bit that we're going to take a trip down memory lane took place 1 year ago. This was right around the time when famous, I hate to say actor, stuntman, skateboarder, socialite,
how about
personality,
pre-social media star
guy.
Yes, Bam Margera,
Pennsylvania.
Bam Margera, who wasn't looking so hot at the time, and actually cost himself at least at the time, major camera time for the upcoming Jackass 4. Here's the bit: Bam Margera not looking so hot.
This guy had like a fucking 2 Lamborghinis when he was 19 years old because he started his own business videotaping himself skateboarding and then turning it into the whole Jackass enterprise. So it went from Bam, oh man, this guy's a young success story, to probably going to be dead next year. From Steve-O, who should be dead in 20 minutes. Who's probably going to outlive all of them now because he's fucking seasoned his body to survive anything.
Yeah, did you see the photo of Bam, the recent one?
Yeah.
You haven't seen him, Alan?
Is it bad?
It is. It's very Artie Lang-esque. You ought to bring it up. See if you can find it. I mean,
it's like
he's like
Artie Lang.
I think he's between he's a year younger than you, Mur.
Yeah, I think he's 1 year younger than me, and it's like if Artie Lang had sex with his dad Phil, that's what Bam looks like now.
And maybe his who was the uncle Rico or not Uncle Rico? Sorry, Uncle
Vito.
Vito. Maybe Vito was videotaping in the corner, pulling his pud. Yeah, that guy's in jail too.
He's dead.
Dead in jail.
I mean, he definitely like there. I haven't seen any good pictures, but he definitely looks like he's not healthy.
Ugh. It's just bad. It's just bad. I mean, that's what happens when you live a fast lifestyle. You don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's very true.
They kicked him off of Jackass 4. Like, he was going to be in it. They made some rules for him. He had to stay clean. Apparently, he started doing drugs, and they were like, all right, you're gone. Sorry, we tried, but that's it.
Wow.
So they literally pulled an intervention on him, and they've pulled the plug on Bam's comeback story now.
Yeah, are you sharing it?
Yeah. I think that's it right there. That's the latest. That's him looking actually
right there. Yeah.
This one with all beat it up. He
right here, the Jackass 4 one.
Yeah, this right here. I mean, that's pretty funky. Pretty funky Cole Medina. Ooh, he looks right. Has he made a comeback?
No.
I don't think so.
I thought they said he was going to be able to be on one bit for Jackass 4.
I don't know. So. I mean,
maybe.
Look it up. God damn it. You got the internet.
I'm looking it up right now.
Well, even if it is, it's just a way of like proving the Bam that they don't hate him because like he's playing the victim card so hard even still. Like he doesn't understand tough love at all.
He's a dick.
Guy. Yeah, he was always a dick. He was always a dick.
I don't believe that to be the case. I think Bam has been a genuine, cool dude. What's he been a dick for? He just got carried away. What are you saying? People get carried away and look like that? Oh, they go on rough times. That means they're a dick?
No, he's always been a dick. You can't pull off shit-ass stunts like that with your friends and not be kind of a dick. And then, it's the progression of time. Like when you're young and you do a fistful of pills that are unmarked and do various things to your body, it's a fun weekend. But if you continue to do it into your 40s, you're kind of a dick. Yeah. Now, if you play shit pranks on your friends in your 20s, okay, that's kind of funny. But if you continue to play shit pranks on your friends and there's no cameras rolling, you're kind of a dick. Like if you're not doing it, like, do you get my point here? Like he's never grown up and he's just always been kind of a dick.
None of these guys have grown up. It's Jackass.
I passed out and got my head shaved. If you were to do that tomorrow, I will probably fucking stab you. Like legitimately. So I mean, at some point in time, you gotta grow up. And he's messing with people's paychecks, man. Like, they're trying to make money off of this Jackass 4. You can't be fucking acting a fool, doing whatever it is he did. I don't even know what he did, but it sounds like it wasn't good.
He just continued to do drugs, like by the fistfuls, and then he was confronted with like, hey, we want you to be a part of this project. However, you have to take a drug test, and if you don't, you have to go back to rehab. And he just was like, no, fuck you. And like, okay, then you're going to die an early death, and we're going to cut you off. So goodbye. That's what happened with Jackass 4. And that's friends. Those are friends trying to help you. And when you tell them to fuck off, you're the dick.
Yeah, that's fair. That's facts.
Okay.
I'm reading a Rolling Stone interview from a couple weeks ago with Johnny Knoxville. And yeah, I mean, he gave the very diplomatic answer. Like, it's very sad, blah, blah, blah. We all love Bam. We hope he'll make the decision to get well. They miss him, blah, blah, blah. They wanted him to be in the movie. It's just not how it worked out. It's very disappointing. Fingers crossed he turns his life around. We're there for him. So, yeah. I mean, it sounds like what Mer said. He just can't get his shit together.
You're not getting your shit together doesn't make you a dick. He's a good dude. He's a good person.
Yeah, why? What? Why? Okay.
Yes. Explain your answer.
Yep.
We just explained our perspective.
You're right. So it's fine. Go ahead.
You saw the compassion and all the shit that he did after Ryan Dunn died. Or was it Ryan Dunn? Yeah.
Yeah.
His boy died. Yeah, but expect him to be sad when your boy dies. Like, if fucking Murr dies, you gonna be sad? Like, yes. Like, you should be because it's your boy. Showing emotions doesn't make it fucking make him top notch.
Showing emotion doesn't make it
be fine. But how about you go ahead?
I just like I haven't seen. There was even times when he was trying to really push his dad to lose weight because and then his mom April said that Bam jokes around about it, but he does not want his dad to die young. He really cares about him. He really loves him. Some of this is just like when he goes in and beats him up when he's taking his shit as his way of showing love.
I mean, I guess.
when Pam physically assaults his father while he's taking his shit on the toilet, it means he loves him.
He doesn't really beat him up.
He does.
Yo, have you heard those body shots on camera? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's why I'm laughing about it because I really used to like that bit.
You don't get that wet Ric Flair slap on concrete if it's a soft blow. That means you've ruptured something internally.
Because he's compassionate, cares about his dad.
Yeah, I hope so.
And
I like how even he gets sad when his friends and his dad are in poor health or die. Okay, so you described a person. Just a regular old person.
I didn't look up I do wonder if he's donated to any charity. How about that? Will that fucking
no, probably not. But go ahead.
Charitable donations.
Okay, and not by court order.
If what could have done it? If
Austria,
he was thank you, friends. I do need rehab. I'm gonna go. That would have been that. I'd have been all right, good for him.
He raised money for a relief fund in Austria.
For what? What happened in Austria?
I had a flood.
Weird.
Wait, now is that? And
Seems a little
then
suspect.
I would also
Does Austria flood all that much?
I don't know. It just seems odd.
I've never heard of that.
And is that him or his manager trying to make sure his taxes aren't fucking audited?
Right? You were yeah, it's a flood. The subscript says it was a chocolate fountain flood in a suite with naked women. It's something, you know what I mean? There's a caveat to this flood that he donated money to.
The point is, if I had, okay, here you go. I'll use John Mulaney. You guys are aware of John Mulaney, the comic, right? Just hosted Saturday Night Live this past weekend. He had a very bad cocaine problem. And the whole gaggle of his friends and family sat him down and said, you need to go to rehab. And he said, really? And they said, yes. Yeah. And he said, okay. He tried it. You know what I mean? So they're just asking Bam, try it. And it came down to okay, fine, Bam, you don't have to go to rehab, and we want you to be in this movie. All we're asking is you don't do drugs while we do this movie. Can you do that? He said, okay. And then they said, okay, it's time for your drug test. And he said, I'm not taking a drug test. And they said, you won't take a drug test and you won't go to rehab, so you're not in the movie. And now they're the asshole?
Right, I get it. So if you're very submissive during an intervention, that's the differentiator between the good and the bad person. I get you run a hard litmus test, and I get it. Okay, fair enough.
But now, more what it speaks to, it's the ability to understand that you were at fault and to accept that, and then try to rectify it, versus being nope, fuck you guys, I'm Bam Margera.
Doesn't make him a bad
nobody
person.
Cares about in 2022.
Being a drug addict doesn't make you a bad person. Let's just say that right now.
I agree with that. But being a drug addict and then being kicked off of a movie because you continue to be a drug addict, and then bad mouthing the people who told you the only caveat for you being in this movie is to not be a drug addict for 4 months while you're on the movie. Then you call all of your friends dicks for kicking you off the movie. That kind of makes you a dick.
being indignant and in denial doesn't make you a dickhead. All right. I see where you're going.
I think that's the definition. I'm not sure, but I could be wrong, but that could be the definition.
The hill that you are dying on currently is just fucking the slipperiest of hills. Yeah. It's just so awful. It's the worst hill you could have possibly died on.
This is why we'll say
it's what? It's barbed wire covered. There's like rats. You were like, you know what hill I should die on? This one. This bad one. There's a meadow over there. There's a meadow covered hill right over there. Not gonna die on that one. One die on this one right here. Bam Margera.
He's not a bad guy. Well, that perfect opportunity to segue into a trip into Classhole. What is it? Classhole Memories? Classhole Lane?
I don't know.
History.
To Classhole History. 2 years ago, we discussed a phenomenon that was happening in Mother Russia. Okay? They were taking a drug called Spice, and Spice made one man hack his leg off just below. It's funny, I can't help but say this and go into Murph's cadence about a shin splints recovery group. Just below the quad and above the knee. And yeah, this clown hacked his leg off with a bunch of pain pills and fueled via Spice. Have a listen.
So, I don't know if you guys have heard of Spice, this fake marijuana. I don't know why anyone would get fake marijuana these days. Real marijuana, readily available, legal in lots of places.
It is Russia.
I'm not sure about Stalin's or Putin's Russia. I don't know how the weed trade works over there.
Some Stalin hangover, yeah.
Yeah, but this guy smoked Spice and apparently took a cocktail of painkillers, says the Daily Star. The Daily Star said this. A cocktail of painkillers, some Spice, and what you get there is my man cutting his leg off, like, almost at the hip. This is a gruesome picture. Maybe we'll throw it up on Facebook. I don't know if that's allowed. Someone's, gagging over here. But yeah, sawed his leg off. There's a tourniquet on this stump, and I want to emphasize stump strongly. But yeah, what do you guys take on this? Spice? Have you heard of Spice? Have you heard of any of these stories of people doing crazy shit like this?
The first thing, and this came out, a similar type of drug was called crocodile, and it was about 5 to 7 years ago.
I heard about this. It was like an injectable, though, right?
Yeah, but it ate your fucking skin. It made you decay from the outside in.
Yeah.
Spice obviously makes you. I think I read somewhere in there. If it serves me correct,
sure.
We might not have been reading the same article, but in between paragraphs there were advertisements. One was for Spice, and it said may make you full of anxiety and a couple other side effects. It's like, well, fucking obviously, this guy decided to.
Hot damn! There's an ad for Spice in this article. Daily Star, you are fucking up. Whoever's in your marketing department allowing this to get through.
It shows side effects, I think, right?
Yeah, Spice is known to cause mood swings, anxiety, and paranoia. So, yeah, sounds good.
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, throw a couple Vicodin in there, some vodka, fucking gravy.
But if you're gonna cut your leg off, okay, fine. Let's just say you're all hopped up on Spice and painkillers, and you just gotta, you're feeling a little heavy. Feel like you put on a couple pounds. You want to lose a little weight. Like, why are you gonna start above the knee, man? I mean, I know he's not in his right mind, but like, I don't know where the optimal place to cut your leg off is, but I feel like above the knee is probably not it.
Maybe he just had short arms. Maybe that's all he could get.
Well, I think that makes. I don't know. Put myself in this situation. If I'm gonna sit down, obviously sitting down, cutting my leg off. I'm not standing up. Just throwing that out. So sitting down, cutting my leg off. It feels like it's a lot of work to bend over and then continue sawing through either like right below my knee or even at my knee. Whereas like right here seems like an easy, just like, fucking go to town. I mean, that's just my logic behind it. I'm not.
I feel like I do the old, like, rest the ankle on the thigh, like, you're sitting down and you're throwing one leg up. There you go. Wes has it. And then just kind of, you got a nice comfortable position to just maybe either hack just below the knee or maybe down by the ankle. I feel like, you could, I mean, depending on your dominant hand, depending on which leg you felt like hacking off that day, feel like yes, that would be the optimal place. It's actually rather impressive that he was able to cut through
whichever one the demons told you to cut off. The article said like there wasn't information about how he got to the hospital. Or anything like that. So it's, I mean, Putin's Russia, my friends, and we don't know how things happen. But now, all right, that's your arm, right? And you're gonna run into some serious nerves and stuff in there. But like, you're talking about femoral artery cutting through the biggest, strongest, hardest bone in your body, except behind like your forehead,
right?
Yeah, like. How do you not bleed out or pass out from almost bleeding, like, and just get through it?
I know. I have the answer.
Spice. Fucking spice.
I was gonna say Russian. You're just Russian.
Just Russian.
You're a hard
Russian.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's why I fear the next World War, because when we have to go up against those sons of bitches, they don't care. They'll cut their own fucking leg off, let alone what you'll do to them.
I mean,
all right. Is spice still affecting Mother Russia today? I don't know. Maybe there's something going on. Haven't heard too much in the news.
I mean, there's a lot going on in Russia. I'm sure spice is probably at the bottom of the list at this point, but yeah, it's probably
spice. I don't know. It seems to take I haven't heard about spice in a while. I mean, maybe no, I have not heard of spice. I have not heard of crocodile in a while. Crocodile. Good God. I heard at one point that crocodile was like heroin mixed with gasoline, which I don't even know. I mean, that sounds like a concoction that was developed by someone who was taking spice.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like the only way you should consume it is to stick it inside of yourself.
With crocodile or gasoline or both?
Crocodile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Really, any of them. I mean, like, there's so many. Here's my thought process on all of these drugs that, like rot your skin and cause you to cut your leg off above the knee. There's so many varieties of drugs that the good folks at Pfizer and Moderna have created for you in a laboratory that, yes, they may cause you to have like anal bleeding or diarrhea or anything like that. But they have been tested in a controlled setting, and you can probably get your hands on them pretty easily. And they're probably cheaper, especially at this point, than buying a gallon of gasoline and a fistful of heroin to mix it with. Why are you doing that?
This goes back to the old Dennis Leary theory about crack. He's like, someone like, you know what? This cocaine's pretty good, but you know what? I'm going to have to bunch this down into a more confined ball with some baking soda and smoke it. That cocaine, that's going to make me feel good. That's... Like, you can't find something that's going to make you feel good. So you ingest something that's going to, potentially, and maybe that's the deal. The drug dealer of crocodile, the first guy, the first, Joe Nobody, the first Uncle Rico that you come across is like trying to sell you some crocodile. Like, yeah, I mean, the skin rotten's like, 1 in 5. Like, 20%? That's good enough for me. I can roll the dice. and then you get addicted, yada, yada. Then you start to look like
then you turn into a zombie.
You start to look like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah. God, remember the guy that was on Spice that was riding the bus in Canada, and then he went on like a murder spree and then ate a guy's face?
What?
Was he on Spice?
I remember something about a spice and a face eating, but
oh yeah, God, did we talk about that as well?
Oh wait, maybe that was bath salts. Well, it was too far back to like.
It was bath salts. I'm Googling it.
Yeah, okay, it was bath salts. Yeah, like at what point? Like, okay, when I hear about people like taking like the hero dose of like mushrooms, and and it's like they talk about their experience. It never involves the eating of a face. Maybe the psychological melting of a face, but never the actual eating of a face. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, that sounds scary, but doable. You hear about somebody doing DMT. Yeah, I felt like I was laying on my bed and then I was shot into the center of the universe. Okay, that's kind of scary, but interesting.
Yeah.
But they didn't hack their leg off. Like, I don't understand the appeal. Like, those drugs I'm scared to do, but at some point in my life, I might be willing to try. At no point do any of these drugs, like, their ad campaign does not appeal to me.
Nope. I agree. I would, like, I mean, somebody was like, hey, got this DMT. You'd be like, let's fucking go to Mars, bitch. Let's fucking do it. Like, because, like, that's just not gonna kill you. Now, it may fucking alter the way you fucking perceive the world, but you're not gonna zombify on some DMT. Yeah, I think that's just where the line is. Like, it's perfectly fine if you fucking take me to the 17th dimension. I'm okay with that as long as I come back. I don't want to fucking become a Walking Dead extra. That's no good for me.
That's right. Yeah, I did see a few people like strung out like that before too. The ones that kind of start teeter tottering. It's just like,
dude. I'm telling you, the heroin fucking wobble is amazing to witness in person, dude. Those motherfuckers weeble and they wobble, but they don't fall down. Yeah. It's amazing. I need to get more videos. I see so many of these people, like speed bumps you would think would be like, oh, there it comes. And then you get that fucking rush of adrenaline, like they're going to face plant, and then they just don't. I saw someone obviously high as fuck on some intravenous drugs, and they were riding a bike with their eyes closed. I'm like, how are you performing this task? They hit the speed bump and the wheel. Now imagine your 12-year-old self. The wheel went 90 degrees to the left, like where it's like, this is a stopping point. There is now a barrier in front of you that you've created with your own arms. And they just fucking corrected at 4 miles an hour at a point where balance doesn't even exist in the universe. You should just fall over. But no. They held it together.
They could make 2 90-degree turns on a bike.
Steering wheel, left, right, back. Oh my god!
Something Dave Miro would have had trouble performing. But yeah,
oh, Heroin Harry made it fucking happen. and there was equal parts fucking like. There was equal parts like disappointment and amazement, which is, I think, all we seek in life.
Oy, oy, oy. So I do wonder. Do you think at some point, if the Russians get a little flabbergasted or frustrated with the Ukrainians, they'll start hopping their frontliners on spice?
Maybe, dude. I'm starting to think new form of guerrilla warfare. Where like the Ukrainians just start blow darting heroin into their necks, just from fucking trees, and then just like, oh,
hey man,
you
come in my country. I mean,
what if like, because fentanyl's like super super strong, even at small concentrations. What if you got your hands on a lot of that and just, I don't know, figured out a way to disperse it? Like, my thought was like, you ever seen them like pepper balls that fucking cops shoot at like crowds and stuff? Imagine just dropping, 0.5 milligram of fucking fentanyl in each of those bad boys and just be like, pop, 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 pop. Peace out, bitches. See y'all later. I would probably
bad idea.
I'd probably be good at war.
That would probably be considered like chemical warfare and be against the Geneva Convention. But I agree with it. That's why you have to fill those balls up with 90% heroin, 10% fentanyl, and then you just claim they were heroin addicts and they just fucking happened to die on the front lines.
Look at them, covered in powder. Right. Covered in powder.
Yeah. Well, then you run the risk of, if they're like running through like a Ukrainian fucking front line of thousands of rounds, like some sort of weird Matrix thing. Dodging every bullet.
You make them like an army of Russians that can't fall down.
Yes. You weeble wobble them. They hit those speed bumps and they just fucking keep on marching
right through Chernobyl. Just to take a pit stop. Go. Okay, let's go.
Terrible.
No, Christ, that joke's been waiting to be pulled for 20 years. Oh man, well, I haven't heard of spice. I haven't heard much of crocodile in 2 years. And if you timestamp that, Christ, that's back when we were doing the show right here in person. We'll do at least 2/3 of it.
Our camera quality was fucking trash.
Terrible. Oof. That was my widescreen. I think I still have that. I should go smash that out front. Then put up signs to tell people to stop smashing their webcams so you can meet me face to face. All right. Well, I think it's time for OMG. Fun facts. Friday. Come on, Mur. Do it.
I give you the rope and you hang yourself every goddamn time. Let's get to it, my friends. It is officially time for OMG Fun Fact Friday, brought to you by a hacking cough and the Shin Splints Recovery Group. You can find them on Facebook. If you have any pain below the knee or above the ankle, I have 2 suggestions for you: a nice dose of spice, or a relevant group on Facebook of like-minded assholes like yourself who have decided that they can seek advice for a non-curable ailment. The Shin Splints Recovery Group. Find them on Facebook. Let's get to it. OMG Facts. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Did you know the lowest temperature ever measured on Earth was minus 126 degrees Fahrenheit in Antarctica?
No, I did not know.
I may have guessed Antarctica, but not negative 126. God,
Jesus,
that's a lot.
You should have sent that Finnish dick freezer down there to get his fucking feelings on the landscape.
It just goes to show you, though, in my opinion, with a little bit of technology, humans can survive like some really fucking terrible climates. Like, think about on the plus side of that, I think it's like plus 126 Fahrenheit in the deserts. So, like, these nomadic tribes have survived for centuries in the deserts at plus that temperature. And now with just a little bit of technology, and by technology, I just mean like North Pole fucking like Arctic jackets. Like, we can survive that too. So I get the hoopla behind the climate change stuff, but humans aren't going anywhere for a while.
I think you say that very confidently.
I do. I'm not saying it's going to be a fun time. I'm just saying, like, we'll still survive.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
we'll be around for a while.
And we'll play I Will Survive by whoever fucking made that as our war cry. And they'll
we'll put on D. Snyder's We're Not Going to Take It, and we'll aim the speakers at the sky.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, then the Prometheus alien comes and he just wipes out the rest of humanity because he's done with us.
And he's just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
The experiment failed.
We never should have gave them aluminum foil. God damn it.
We were trying to contact you and tell you to knock the shit off, but you blocked us out. Oh, did you know the oldest recipe in existence is a recipe for beer?
Wow. So
actually, I've heard that before.
So, I mean, I guess I have some questions about this. I mean,
okay.
Obviously, prior to beer, people were making, albeit simple foods. What quantifies as a recipe? They actually wrote it down. They actually
wrote it down. They carved it into a stone tablet. Like, and I get your point. There was obviously like, okay, you cut a lamb's leg off, and then you skewer it this way, and then you rub it in these spices, and that was passed down word of mouth.
Yeah,
but you didn't carve shit unless it was important,
right?
And so the recipe for beer to these people was important enough to chisel into a fucking rock. Like, so like that tells you something about our mindset with mind altering substances.
Yep. This isn't the first time. It's not the first time a human's mind was altered. They obviously were eating some plants and I would say smoking some things. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But beer had to have been just a real groundbreaker. I mean, come on, right? They just said, like, let's suck a couple of these pints down, especially to a middle-aged I mean, not too many people were living to the middle age.
Nobody.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's say
they were the elderly.
Someone in the 20s or 30s sucking down like two, I'll say a pint's worth. Maybe it was a gaggle's worth. And they're like, boo, yeah. All right, let's get the engraver in here in the cave. We need to get this down precise.
Well, there's a few books now written about, like, especially psychedelics and like early religion and things of that nature, and possibly that psychedelic mushrooms might be the reason our brain expanded so greatly over like 1,000 years, that there was a mind expansion going on. And then people in power learned that, like, oh, fuck, we can't let these people learn anymore. So we're going to ban this shit. And like, so psychedelics might be the first banned substance by a civilized people.
Yeah, like there was tons of experiments with mushrooms and LSD and shit in like the 60s and 70s, and there was tons of promising research on fucking mental health issues and all types of shit, and we were like, that can't sell Zoloft, so get it on out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, 40, 50 years later, Johns Hopkins is like, there might be something there.
They're like, guess what? We found this paper that we did back in the day, but everybody told us not to use it. Mushrooms can heal people.
We keep the documents. Hey, have you guys ever seen Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins?
I feel like yes,
maybe,
but my mind.
So he's a Vietnam vet who comes back home from war, and something just doesn't seem to like quite add up, and it looks like basically what it boils down to is that while he's on his deathbed in Vietnam, they fed him LSD. So then the movie is him going through a trip, living out the rest of his life, or at least like part of his life post-war back in the United States.
Damn. Is there a conclusion to that?
No, just that there's a lot of stuff going on with LSD and experiments. Yeah.
No, I think like I've said, man, that there's an entire resort down in Costa Rica where you go down and you do ayahuasca, and people come back and their lives are right again. So there is something to all of this stuff. And I think we just need to get over we need to get over our hang-ups on this stuff and figure out what it's for. We're willing to put all these prescriptions in our body to solve certain things. Why don't we start to figure out what other civilizations figured out before us to get us to this point?
Because then you get shit like spice and people start hacking their fucking legs off.
That's fair. It's a fair point. Did you know Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, never phoned his mother or his wife? They were both deaf.
Huh. I did not know that.
That's strange.
His mom and his wife were both deaf?
Yeah. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Like back in the day, like there was no bell tone, like there was no hearing aids, like like the fact that the guy who was able to phone other people across a continent like couldn't even talk to the people that were right next to him.
Well, I had to think, okay, so if his mom was deaf, he likely knew sign language. So therefore, if his wife also deaf, especially at that time, so many people, being able to a person who could hear, who could speak sign language. And I'm not saying you're few and far between, but you're able to communicate with someone like that. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
I'm saying,
I guess.
I'm
but
like,
why would you be so obsessed with like communicating with people from like greater distances right next to you?
You have your passions. You have your hobbies. You have your professions.
Yeah, just like hand language wasn't where his heart was. It was verbal language. It was audible language. So
right.
He had to figure out a way to get audible language to cross seas.
Hand language is where his boner was. Transcontinental language was where it was.
Well, I guess maybe like I need to talk to some motherfucker. Jesus Christ, nobody in this fucking room listens to me.
Or that,
God damn it.
Or he had traveled to the Orient at some point in time and wanted to phone the ladies over there, but he couldn't. You know what I mean? He wanted to still talk to them, but he couldn't. You gotta come up. Gotta fix a problem.
Why does it have to be the Orient?
That's because during that time, that was like the mystical place that imperialists went. Whether it was us, whether it was the Dutch, whether it was the British, everybody was like, it's over there in Asia, or the Orient, as we call it.
Gotcha.
So that's why I said it, because it worked out.
Yeah. No, I mean that. Okay. I mean, like in his world, that's likely the only people he hadn't seen. The only type of person he hadn't seen. I mean, the rest of them were just getting blown up in caves out in fucking California.
How long? When was he alive? Let's look. I don't actually have it.
I'm gonna say
Late
mid 1800s. Yeah.
I do enjoy how we have like made up fantasies about Alexander Graham Bell visiting the Orient. You just throw a total hypothetical out there, and then Murr tries to say something remotely historically inaccurate. Like, hold on, let me look this up. let me get to the bottom of this. Proceed.
No, that wasn't me. That was Alan. By the way,
I was directing that. I was directing that towards Alan. By the way,
he was born in 1877. So fuck you.
Okay.
But it was definitely still the Orient then. Okay. But he died in 1931. So he definitely saw an Asian person. Let's be real.
Okay, I know, but man.
Yeah, dude, didn't think that, did you?
No, I'm just thinking about the timeline, though. So he was born in 1877, so he didn't invent the telephone.
He was born in 1847.
Oh, 1847. When you said 70?
Yeah, you did say 70.
Wikipedia's off. Give me a second.
It's not. You're off.
No, it is.
Be honest. No, you are. Come on. Stop with
1940. Yeah, 1940 or 1847. 1847.
Okay. So when was the telephone invented?
He invented the telephone.
When did he steal the telephone?
Yeah, when did he steal the telephone? Telephone.
And the only reason I'm asking this is because the medium that we're on right now, right? So Jesus God, like we went from like being able to like just Mary had a little lamb to fucking this bullshit where Wes will break a keyboard because his screen fucking freezes up for 5 seconds.
Wait, were we talking about Edison or Graham Bell? I forget what the fuck.
Graham Bell.
Graham Bell.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I don't know how I got myself onto Edison. So
put smoke and spice. Jesus.
Yeah, it was all that spice, man. All right, so let's see. Alexander Graham Bell, 1847, same year as Thomas Edison. Oddly enough, 1922 he died.
He only got a little lick of
9 years
20s.
younger than Edison.
Damn.
So 1847, and then he made the telephone in 1876.
1876.
32.
Yep, so he was
31, 32.
29.
Wait, you said 47. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
He was a shade under 30.
So personal communication between two people is less than 150 years old.
Yeah.
To steal,
Wait,
to kind of paraphrase Joe Rogan,
telegraph,
that was
right?
like less. Huh?
You don't consider the telegraph?
I don't consider the telegraph because, like, I can't just pick up a telegraph and be like, "Hey, Wes, what's going on?"
Fair enough.
Like with the phone, I can pick it up and be like, "Hey, Wes, what's going on?" Like, so that's like less than two generations that we've been able to have this kind of communication, and we wonder why the world's so fucked up. Like, you know, we realize how much we fucked up the internet and what its uses are capable of. And, you know, maybe we fucked up personal communications as well. It's nice to be able to talk to people from far away, but Jesus God, man, like I don't know, man. It's sometimes I wonder, like, with the amazing abilities of these technologies, if we've really like taken the time to learn how to harness them and use them properly.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, the technology became available, and some fucking tycoon was like, "Ooh, I ought to buy this all out and charge people to use the service."
The internet became available, and people were like, "Boobs, put boobs on it," and here we are.
Hell yeah!
I remember the bills we used to get in the mail for telephone service were from Bell Atlantic.
It's true.
Which doesn't exist anymore, which is now just been folded into whatever Verizon is, which isn't even landlines. It's satellites in the sky.
It's Sky
phones.
What was it? The heart of communication.
That's right.
James Earl Jones. Yeah.
I think it was James Earl Jones.
Heart of communication.
He was reading the Bible around the same time.
Did you know almost 3/4 of all the fresh water in the world is in Canada?
I did.
Dude, when I read that briefly before I read that again to you guys, I just realized, like, Russia's going to take the Ukraine because there's oil and gas under the ground right next door, and they want it for them. Like, we talk about global warming and the catastrophe that mankind might cause across the globe. Canada's fucked. The most peaceful nation and probably the most isolated peaceful nation in the world is going to be fucked in 30 years if we don't, quote unquote, solve global warming. So why aren't they at the forefront of fixing this crisis? If all the water that we need is basically there, they're a target. They need to realize this.
Well, they're fishing on it most of the time. What do you want them to do, huh? What do you want them to do?
I want them to create like a solar panel that takes up like the entire like region where nobody lives, and then just give electricity to the world and be like, "We're good, eh?" And be done with it. I've read that it would take a solar panel 1 mile wide by 1 mile high, so 1 square mile, and that could power the entire world's electricity. Damn. Why don't we build that?
Because nobody makes money off it.
Yeah.
Fair point. I've also heard Bill Burr go off on a tirade about the oil companies and be like, tell them they own the sun and just get it done.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of like up and down on that of like how that works, but he's like, just tell them they own the sun and make it happen and be done with it.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it's fucking... Ugh, this is kind of like making my mind numb too. No, I didn't know that 3/4 of the fresh water is in Canada. Makes sense though. Do they consider the? They do have those. They do have those big lakes there. What the hell are those things called?
The Great Lakes.
I know. I'm just being.
Oh, okay. I know. I say, man, I don't know sometimes. But no, yeah, that's like the lakes are a ton of it, and then I think a bunch of tundra, right? And frozen permafrost. Yeah. That's all fresh water.
So, yeah, all that stuff. But I mean, but that's what makes the world go round. I mean, you go over to India and Pakistan. Like, the reason like Kashmir is a song by Led Zeppelin is because that's the only fresh water source for those two giant fucking countries on a whole continent. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why they stand there fucking peacocking to each other across a fucking fake border.
I have seen some videos of like people swimming and jumping in the Ganges, just fucking pollution floating by it.
That's not consumption water.
No. Keep your mouth shut when you jump in that bitch.
Yeah, people let their dogs poop in that thing all day.
Damn him! I hate him too.
And most of their cremation centers are located right there. So like there's a lot of ash in there. It's very ashy water.
Don't they like burn them and drop them in there or some shit? I think there's something ritualistic about the Ganges and funerals. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't make your clean drinking water like a ritualistic place to dump all your shit. That's probably not wise.
It's a flowing river, so it's honestly not a terrible fucking idea because it's not just stagnant with dead bodies. It's just, it goes away.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you can pick up the remnants of like, I don't know, 4 tons of Dasani water bottles and a PlayStation 2 out of the same water you're drinking out of, probably. How enlightened are you?
That wasn't their fault.
Keep your mouth closed, all right, when you jump in.
Yeah.
And finally, did you know if you walk and talk with someone, you eventually will synchronize your steps with each other?
Wow.
I believe that.
I've heard that before. I don't even know. I mean, obviously I'm not in anything of any kind of doctoral degree. No, but what is that? Because I've noticed that before. Like Alan's a short guy. I'm a short guy. You're a tall guy, or a medium tall guy, Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that about? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, but if you even go further, they always say if like women work together, like their periods will fucking sync up eventually. Like it's
those two are probably mutually exclusive. My guess is that if you're talking, then psychologically you want to patternize your steps in order to not distract from the conversation. So you're trying to like have less like clack 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 clack. That way you can have more yap 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 yap. And again, that's a total shot in the dark. I don't know. I hope some psychologist who listens like, yep, Fox got it right. Look at him. Fox man.
Yeah, I think it's probably more just biological that you kind of, your natural rhythm gets into lockstep with the other human that's next to you. The other organism of your species is doing it. So you're like, oh, look at that.
Like a dance.
But
some sort of
have you ever seen those videos of the metronomes? Like they'll start metronomes at like just completely different points, and eventually they'll match up completely.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying electromagnetic, huh? Is that what you're going with?
I don't know what I'm going with. I would like, one thing I would like science to do is take extraordinarily obvious phenomenon and solve them. You know what I mean? Like we want to, okay, even at Biden's State of the Union address, he's like, we want to cure cancer, which I'm for. Pro cure cancer. I don't think anybody in the world's against that one. But in order to cure cancer, I feel like we start. Why do my footsteps match up with my buddy when we're walking down the street?
Walking and talking.
Let's figure out the figure-outable things at the very bottom, and let's just work our way up. Let's make a list, like the most insignificant bullshit that mankind faces, and then work our way up to the most significant. Maybe we learn a few, hey, pun intended, steps along the way.
Right. Maybe that's why you do talk, because you're so fucking annoyed by the fact that your steps aren't matching. God damn it. All right. Hey, man, how's the wife? How's the kids? Oh, God. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. There we go. God, perfect. Thank you.
Hey, can you pause for a second? Okay, let your left foot hit. Okay, okay, now go. Now let's talk. It just happens naturally.
Let's do the hokey pokey. We'll figure. I don't know. I told you.
But yes, that film, man, that's very lackluster. I almost feel bad, like trying to end on that note. There should have been something profound said at the very end.
Ooh, well, hey, listen, man. Less time talking, more time walking.
I was going to say cucumbers taste better pickled.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
What? What's your last one, guy?
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Yeah, that's yeah. All right. Well, on that note, that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Ooh, I was going to actually get to you. Oh, there we go. Hey, folks, before you go, just know that a pizza place accidentally ran a magazine ad featuring a naked man in latte art. Charo's Pizza Restaurant in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has been the point of conversation here on this podcast in the last few weeks because some monkeys got loose. And I've never seen a follow-up, so God knows what happened to those three mammals chirping around the fucking greater Pennsylvania area. So it has an ad in this, it looks like it was like a coupon type thing. And it's a woman holding a latte. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and show this fucker.
It's in the penny saver.
And it is obviously the art of a nude man. You see, you got the biceps here, the pecs, the abs, and then Dongus Maximus. I mean, this here is Mandingo in a fucking latte cup. They said the pizza shop later apologized, said that we didn't realize that. We didn't know. Our editors didn't know. There's no course of action, of course, but wowee. Hey, look, fire away your thoughts on Mandingo being some sort of like, this is like a Disney type thing. And we get to that more if you want to, but, good for the artist. That looks really cool. It's just milk on top of coffee, but Mandingo.
Oh yeah. Just milk.
I bet that's what the aim was for some milk. That's hey man, that's actually impressive. I don't know how people do anything in the fucking coffee foam or whatever it is. So if you can sculpt a gentleman with a member, I think you're pretty good. You're a pretty good artist.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm pretty sure this is photoshopped, but
yeah,
go on.
It's a Photoshop. It's a meme. That guy was a meme for like he was pretty hot for about 2 months, about 2 years ago. And yeah, so somebody just photoshopped him into the foam.
He looks pretty hot now. I'll tell you that.
Like, And that guy's dead, by the way, just to bring the mood down a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did he get thrown in the Ganges?
Terrible.
No, but here's the thing about that bullshit, though, is okay, 4 people are going to notice it, right? Like me, you, Alan, and the guy who made it. And then when you have to apologize for the thing that nobody else noticed, everyone's like, oh, yeah, now I see it. That photo that you showed is like superimposed. That's probably 100 times like the actual.
Are
you going to show the act?
That's the ad, yeah.
Yeah, come on. Like, you barely noticed that. This is what I hate about all the outrage that we feel now, is that only the people that know about it are going to catch it, and then they tell everybody who didn't catch it, and then the people who didn't catch it look at it and are like, oh, yeah, that's a black guy with a penis hanging out. Like, then they get mad. They get mad at the thing that they didn't know they were supposed to be mad about, and then they get mad about it, and it's a great advertisement. So I champion all of everything that these people have done. They photoshopped the black man's penis into an ad, and then they got more ads out of it by being outraged by the ad.
It does, and I mean, their slogan or punchline is Charo's love at first bite. I mean, something to be said for that.
I mean, that's fair.
God,
put this in your mouth. You'll love it.
It's right next to a fudge cake too. Kind of oozing out in the middle.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed that.
And hey, man, they have $3, $5, $10 off of any order and free pizza toppings on. Let's see here. Who knows?
Hopefully, it's not a cream pie.
Awful.
It's not awful.
It's terrible.
It's the greatest of all time. All right, Alan, tell the kiddos where you can find the middle class holes.
Oh, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us for all of your listening pleasures. You can catch us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And, of course, to interact with us and catch all our content, check us out. We are at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Class Holes on Facebook. And our TikTok, which is one of our favorite new adventures, is Middle Class Holes, at Middle Class Holes. So check us out on there because we love it. And, of course, our favorite mode of communication, please email us at your leisure at tickleourtummies. That's right, tickleourtummies@gmail.com. Check us out.
All right, I take that pause as we have nothing. Damn it, son of a bitch.
God damn it.
Well, as he's saying
I'll give you a longing, loving look if we have an email.
Yeah. Hey, Wes, did I hear you're coming over tomorrow? Is that happening?
I'll be there.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just work, and then I get 48 hours to kind of do my thing, and then I work again.
We're actually driving up, and then we're taking an Uber back. That way we can get nice and sauced up.
Getting saucy.
Yeah.
So Kelly whipped up. So Kelly got on this thing. I think I told you about. Like, she made some black bottoms, and she got some new molds that she made them out of that turned them they came out perfect. There was a nice crisp bottom to it, so it gave it some structure. So then we were spitballing the other day, just being fat kids and thinking about snacks. And I was like, you should do variations of black bottoms. And I was like, you should do red velvet bottoms. You should do this bottoms. And so she had made spice cake the other day, and that was delicious. And I was like, you should make fucking spice bottoms. And she was like, yep. So I came home from work today because I was all driving about all day, and there were fucking spice bottoms down in the kitchen.
Damn.
Man. I don't even want a black bottom anymore. They're that fucking good. I'm just spice bottoms.
I'm working out twice tomorrow in the morning and
you're gonna need it
before. Yeah, god damn it. Oh yeah. We'll be over. And listen, hey folks, if you get caught manufacturing, distributing, or purchasing a fake COVID vaccine card, I hope that you get duped into eating spice and you hack your dick or your clitoris or both legs off at the same time. I mean that.
I was going to say, can we add one? If you get caught flying a Russian flag, because I saw a picture that somebody posted of multiple vehicles doing this in the state of Florida, of course. God, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just that. So if you're thinking about picking one up from Amazon, just don't.
I hope that your car veers off into a lake and as you're trying to swim out, you see the bank, and fucking alligators eat you.
Mm-hmm. I hope that your 1991 Range Rover fucking falls into the Black Sea. You garbage person.
and it floats. You'll swim away safely.
It'll be fine. It's a Range Rover.
In the Black Sea. All right. Good night, everybody.